I don't know if you noticed, but I'm in your stomach right now and it's looking pretty empty. We need to do something about that. But I know for a fact that you might be struggling with the amount of calories that you're consuming. You want to stay full, but at the same time, you don't want to overeat. So here's the solution. I'm going to give you the holy grail of hunger suppressants, the natural way. Now, what we want to do is make you feel as satisfied as possible without filling you full of calorific food. Now, there's one thing that I want you to pay attention to, and that is the difference between psychological hunger and physical hunger. Physical hunger, you can actually feel your tummy rumbling, you know that you should be eating. However, when it comes to psychological hunger, that might be that you're bored or that you feel like you need a sense of comfort. That's very different. This is something that we can cover in another video. But for now, we're going to focus on making sure that you physically feel as full as possible. Now, of the holy grail of hunger suppressants, tip 1 is hydration. I need you to down a glass of water before every meal. The reason why is that water is very voluminous, but you can consume a lot of it at once, which means that you can create a sensation of satiety before you actually eat anything. This means it will be a lot quicker for you to feel full when you're eating. But not just this, unfortunately, our bodies can get a little bit confused at times. A lot of the time they think that just because, or our body thinks that just because it's thirsty or dehydrated, that it needs to eat. Now, this might actually be due to our more primitive forms. For example, chimps and gorillas, they don't actually drink water at all. They just rely on vegetation. So eating fruits and vegetables and root veg to contain it or to retain and sustain their levels of hydration. We, however, we sweat quite a bit. We need to consume more water. Tip 1, once again, is to down a glass of water before you eat anything. And it's a lot easier because you don't have to remember to drink throughout the day. You can just drink it one glass and then boom, you can eat your food. The second, now this might sound a little bit counterintuitive, but the second tip is I want you to consume a starter before your lunch and your dinner. But this starter is going to be slightly different. I want you to consume a starter full of big, bulky vegetables. That, for example, might be a whole plate of, or a whole Tupperware, whatever you've got, of green leafy vegetables underneath. For example, your spinach, your kale, or your rocket, or even just lettuce. But then on top of that, we're going to put really big, bulky vegetables. I'm talking about mushrooms, asparagus, beetroot, other root vegetables, for example, even like a little bit of sweet potato or something like that. Your broccoli, anything like that. Feel free to put a little bit of a light dressing on top as well. Now, the reason why is obviously these foods, once again, just like our primitive cousins would eat, these foods contain a lot of water, which keeps us full, but as well as that, they contain a hell of a lot of fiber. There's a hugely positive correlation between the amount of fiber that we eat, how full we feel, and how slim we are. Now, what this will actually do is it will once again speed up the amount of, it will speed up you feeling full when you actually eat your meal, when you're eating foods that have next to no calories in. So give that a go. Once again, the second tip is consume a big, bulky starter full of vegetables before you actually eat your lunch and dinner. The third tip, best natural hunger suppressant, which we all do for hopefully 8 hours a day, and that is sleep. But the issue is that a lot of people go without sleep, and a lot of people, their sleep isn't as high quality as we would like. The issue is that when we're sleep deprived, unfortunately, our bodies go into a state where our bodies feel like they need to consume more energy to make sure that we're getting the nutrients, or to basically make sure that we're getting the energy from our diet rather than from our sleep. Now, there's a few tips that I can give you to make sure that your sleep hygiene is up to scratch. The first is you need to get at least 8 hours opportunity of sleep. This doesn't mean that you have to be asleep for 8 hours, but it means you have to have the opportunity to sleep for 8 hours. This means in bed for 8 hours. It doesn't matter whether you're reading a little bit, it doesn't matter whether you're just laying there and almost doing a little bit of meditation or something like that, but you need to give yourself the opportunity for 8 hours sleep. The second is try to make sure that your room is cool and dark. Our bodies really prefer to sleep in cooler environments rather than hot environments. So you might feel like you want to jump into a room when it's really warm. I would really recommend that you don't. I'd really recommend that you huddle up inside the duvet and just wait to warm up in bed before falling into a natural deep sleep. And you know this because the amount of times that you probably woke up and your foot's hanging out the edge of the bed, that's your body trying to cool itself down. As well as this, we want to refrain from any technology 20 minutes before bed. The reason why is the light from the tech can actually cause our reticular formation, I think it's reticular formation, and also our pineal gland, which senses light. It can activate that, which causes us to feel more awake. So what you want to do is make sure, reticular activating system, that's it, reticular activating system. You want to make sure that you're not stimulating this part of your brain. You want to make sure that you shut off from any form of technology 20 minutes before you go to sleep. Are there any more tips? Yeah, one last tip, take a ZMA, or alternatively, you can also take a calms tablet before you go to bed. They're natural remedies and they can really do a good job of getting you into a deep sleep. So if you find it easy to get to sleep, but you find it more difficult to stay asleep, then this can be a really good thing for you to do. So 3 hunger suppressants. 1, consume water before you eat. 2, consume a big bulky salad before you eat. 3, get that sleep in. Remember that sleep deprivation also a bad diet, sleep deprivation and a bad diet can really inflame the body and cause you more likely to have what we call pseudo injuries, i.e. fake injuries. So a lot of you guys that come into the clinic for treatment will also ask you about your sleep to make sure that you're getting your sleep in, to make sure that's not contributing to your pain as well. I hope that answers your questions, and any questions that you have, feel free to email in or give us a comment to request a video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day, and remember that if you need any of our advice, we offer free consultations. To get the consultation in by going to our website, which is www.revitalizeclinic.co.uk.